Hello everyone, this is Gayle, and this is my first tutorial of 2020. Sound like Barbara Walters, don't I? And rather than using regular polymer clay, what I chose to do today is using liquid polymer clay. Now I'm only going to finish, I have this wooden box, and for the technique I'm only going to show you the top, just because I don't want to have to do make a whole lot of the clay. I'll finish it off camera. But let me find my toothpicks. I'm in my new craft room and I can't find anything. It's still not finished, but I'm getting there. But I'm going to use liquid clay today, and I'm going to use mica powders. Now the mica powders I'm going to use are from RJ Crafts, and she's got so many wonderful colors, and I'm going to choose Mystic Purple and Turquoise Teal. And what I'm going to do, you see I have my little palette here, I'm going to take some liquid clay, and I'm using liquid Kato because that's my favorite. And I'm just going to put some in my palette. And then I'm going to, see, what am I looking for? I'm looking for my tools. I keep forgetting my tools are not on my desk. Anymore. Excuse me while I move stuff around. I actually have a Raskog cart. It's got all my tools in it. I can roll it around and then roll it out of the way. Isn't that awesome? I think I'll use this little scoop tool, and I think I'm going to put, well, I'll just go ahead and mix both of them. Whoa. It's a really full. You notice I did put down some parchment paper just because I knew that this was going to be messy. And I'm going to take a couple little scoops of the pearl, the perfect, what did I say it was? Mystic Purple. I'm going to mix it into the clay, and that might be too much mica powder. I have to add some more liquid clay to it. I'll just have enough to finish the whole box this way. But see how it makes a nice purple color? I don't know how purple it looks on your end. When I look in my camera, it looks blue, but trust me, it's very purple. I'm not going to mix the blue yet, but what I'm going to do, and don't cringe, I'm going to use my finger, and I'm going to just put this all over the top of my box. And what you can see is I'm literally painting the box with liquid clay. Now you don't want to do more than this space at a time, because I don't know if you can see, the clay will eventually soak into the wood, which is good because that means it's going to bond really well. And let me go ahead and do the whole top. I'll do as much as I've got clay, or paint, however you want to call it, as much as I've got. And I'm going to coat this all over the top. And then I'm going to bake it in the oven for about 10 minutes, maybe 15. That's all that the liquid clay needs. Almost stuck my finger in the mica. I should have probably covered it up. I want to make sure that everything, all the wood gets covered up. I'll go ahead and go along the outside rim, but I'm not going to go underneath because that has the hinge on it. I'll take care of that later. And this is just liquid clay. It's not going to burn your fingers. It's not going to do anything horrible to your fingers. So don't worry. If you would rather use a brush, you can use a brush. But I have not clayed in so long, I was anxious to get my hands on the clay. And since I'm not using solid clay today, I need to get my fingers in the liquid clay. Something satisfying about getting your fingers in your art. At least for me it is, anyway. I'm almost finished. And then, like I said, I will bake it in the oven. And then come back and I'll show you what I'm going to do with the rest of it. And I'm just going to do the top. You can repeat the same process for the rest of the box, but I will try to complete the box. Just making sure I have everything covered. Okay, I did think far enough ahead to put my paper towels here on my table because I'm going to need those today. Just wipe this off. See, it comes up, well, it's a little bit of a purple stain, but that'll come off with soap and water. And I'm going to bake this in the oven for about 15 minutes, and then I'll be back. Okay, my box has been baked, the top, and you can just see it's just a nice, pretty purple color. Now what I'm going to do is and you can use anything. I'm going to use a piece of patty paper, but you can use wax paper. You can use these plastic sheets if you want to try those, balling them up. Just anything that you can ball up. And I'm going to use this. I don't know if you can see the texture on it. And I've gone ahead and mixed the blue. And I'm going to just dab this in the blue. And I'm going to dab some of it off. I don't want it to be too bad. And I'm just going to pounce. And you can put as much texture or as little texture as you like. Didn't get a very good hold on my paper. You see, I'm just going to pounce. And I like that. What do you think? And I think I will do the same thing on the sides, but I am going to try to open it up. And pounce on the sides. And you just add it as you need it. I probably ought to get another piece of paper. This has kind of gotten flattened out. I'm not getting as good a texture, but it still doesn't look bad. get another piece of patty paper. So one thing about patty paper is there's plenty of it. I think there's like 1,000 sheets in a package, and I've had mine for years, and I'm not even halfway finished. Let's try this side. And just tap. And then one last side. And you would do the same thing with the bottom. Although what I was thinking about doing, but what I was thinking about doing is when I do the bottom, I'm going to paint with the blue and pounce with the purple and see how that looks. But this is how it looks now. You see it's pounced all the way around. And I'm going to put this in the oven and bake it for about 15 minutes. So again, I'll be back. Sorry this one is in so many small segments, but I think you're going to like the end result. I'll be back. Okay, I went ahead and finished the bottom of the box with the blue and dabbed the purple on it. And I think I like the way it turned out. And the good thing about this is because the mica is inside the liquid polymer clay, it will not rub off. You know, it's not going to come off because it's embedded in the liquid clay. So you don't need to put another finish on it. Now, what I thought, and what I probably should have done was painted the inside of it before I got started. But I may just leave it wood. But I would probably have, oh, my phone's ringing, I'm sorry. I would probably have painted this silver on the inside, or gold, whatever your preference is, depending on your colors. And then this is a silver Sharpie. And I'm going to fill in these little places that I didn't cover with the clay with the silver Sharpie, and you'll see it covers really well. On that side and on this side, and I would go all the way around and finish this. Well, that's got clay on it. Well, it doesn't look bad. I should have probably wiped that off. But anyway, and do the same thing on the front. See, there's the wooden space here on the front. I would just take my Sharpie and go across that. One thing that's important is you don't want to put paint on the two sides where they come together, like on this surface here and on this surface here, because if you do, no matter how dry the paint is, it will start sticking to itself. So it'll end up just being a sticky, the top will stick. You can pull it off, it's not that stuck, but still it's just the aggravation of having to unstick it. So just remember, don't put any paint on the flat side. And let me get this side. See, it kind of covers up some of your mistakes. And then the same thing back here. Only I probably would have used the paint on this if I were painting it, but I think I'm going to just leave it. So I'm going to use my Sharpie to paint this. Sharpies are wonderful, aren't they? Remember when that used to be that all they were good for was writing black permanent words and things? Now you can use them for so many things. They've even got colored Sharpies, but I don't use the colored Sharpies too much. I've got too many other kinds of markers, but I do keep Sharpies for this type of thing. Now you can do this, it doesn't have to be a box. You can get wooden candle holders, you can get wooden tissue holders, or the paper mache. It would work on the paper mache as well as the wood. You can even decorate this. And let me see if I did cut some squares. Let me cut another one. You notice I've got the dirty side of my clay. Well, now they're both sides are dirty. Let me find a clear spot. But I'm cutting down on this. And when you use your Kemper cutter to push it out, it leaves a little circle there. But if you turn it over, you not only don't see the circle, but your edge is sharper. Because where the cutter goes through the clay, it kind of pushes the top down, so it kind of rounds it a little bit. But on the bottom side, it's going to be a very sharp corner. So you could do something like this. You could take little squares of clay and put them in the corners. I don't know that I'm going to leave this on here, but I just to show you what you could do. Then you could put the square in the middle. And if you wanted, you could take a ball of clay. You take my biggest, well, my biggest circle cutter, rather than just balling up a wad of clay, in case I decide I want to do another one. But you could take a little ball of clay, actually I just picked up a lot of the mica that's on my fingers on the clay, so I won't use this ball, but I will at least show you. You could take it and press it here in the center, and then you'd have a little ball, little handle type thing. You could take crystals, and that's one thing. I know I have my heat set crystals somewhere. I've got this box, but there's another box that I have that I can't find right now. Oh, it'll be nice when I get everything back where it's supposed to be and I can find things. But I can use the little crystals. Those are beads. But I would take, and you're going to laugh at me, I'm going to take my toothpick and just dab it in this liquid clay, just a little bit on the tip. And then let me find a pretty purple. These are my small crystals, so I don't have them separated, but I've got a box similar to this, but it's got taller cylinders in it, and it's full of my different colored crystals, heat set crystals. And the reason I know that is because when I unpacked it, it opened up and I had crystals all over everywhere, and I had to sit and re-separate. So let me see if I have anything. Where's my top? See if I have anything that would go with this, either purple or how about a light blue? Maybe press that in the center. I've got a tool I use with my paper crafting that I could do this with. And press it down into the clay. That's the light blue. Can I come in a little bit? Let me see. I haven't used this camera in a while, so there you go. But see how you could do that? You could texturize this before you cut it and put some texture on it. I didn't put enough stuff on the end of my toothpick. There's just so many things you can do, but I am not going to put these on here because I like the box the way it is. Let me pull that out and put it back in my stash. But there's just so many different options. But the first thing you need to do is to have your box. So there you go. This is my little keepsake box. I'll probably put it on my dresser and use it for jewelry or something. Maybe put my Christmas jewelry in it. Although I should have made it red and green for Christmas jewelry. But let me come back out. But I think it turned out really nice. So I hope you like this. I did, and I love the way it turned out. It almost looks marbly, doesn't it? But I really like it. Show you all four sides. The bottom I left wood because I have some felt, and I'm going to glue some felt on the bottom so that it won't scratch my table when I put it on there. But that's my liquid polymer clay box, or candlestick holder, or tissue holder, or vase. You could really do something cute with a vase in decorating it with the clay and the crystals. That would make a really nice decoration. So come back again soon. I will be back with another polymer clay video. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.